G'day, welcome back. Another quick review. This time I'm going to review my former BMW M135i. I had this car last year. This followed my fantastic Camry, and talk about night and day, but it was a bit of a change. I've always liked BMWs, the ultimate driving machine and all that stuff. I've owned a few over the years, and I'd never really owned a genuinely quick one. So the opportunity came up that I could buy something a bit nicer, and thought, right, now's my chance. And looked at a few different options, did a fair bit of research, not just on the M135i, but also on some other potential options. There's a lot of really good content on YouTube around M135is. I'll link a couple in the description, so if you want to see a genuine deep dive into one of these cars, I'll put some good examples in there for you. So after deciding that an M135i was for me, the universe decided that we'd be in lockdown. Well, not we in my part of the world, but Auckland, being New Zealand's biggest city, had probably about 80% of the M135is that were on the market at that particular time. There was only one or two local ones, one at a dealer and one that was for sale privately. But there was multiple of them in Auckland. In an ideal world, I would have been able to go to Auckland for a weekend and have a look at a few different ones, pick the best or the best deal, and drive it home. But unfortunately, the options were a little bit more limited than that, and me being me had made my mind up. So of course I went and brought the one that the dealer had in Wellington, and what an absolutely awesome car it was, and I'm sure it still is. So without going into too much detail, obviously they're much more modern cars, so you've got all the modern stuff and electronics, adaptive chassis, adaptive gearboxes, adaptive just about everything, but even creature comforts, I guess, like having phone mirroring and music streaming and all that sort of stuff, was available too. The one that I got, like many cars we have in New Zealand, particularly used cars, was ex-Japan, but it had the navigation and all that sort of stuff upgraded, so it had all the local information on it, so it was quite a simple car just to jump in and away we go. So I jumped in and away I went. So yeah, some great and some grim about the M135i. Now this is based on my experience, not everybody else's, so you can agree or disagree, that's quite okay. The great, obviously the power's addictive. 6-cylinder, twin turbo, and just the noise and the feeling that it puts through the vehicle, through the seat, in your bum and your back. Yeah, it's awesome. Another big positive for me is the way they handle. So you've got engine at the front, powering the wheels at the back, which, for a lot of people is how performance cars should be. Later versions came with four-wheel drive, but the M135i is a rear-wheel drive, and they handle like they're on rails. And I guess probably the greatest thing for me with the car was the smile factor. So much fun to drive it. The sensations you get orally, physically, and the power, it's just a hoot. It really is. The grim, for me, the power. And what I mean by that, obviously it's a positive and it's awesome. However, because it's so powerful and it's so awesome, it's pretty difficult to get to that level that gives you all that feedback and that the fizz, for want of a better term, going at speeds that we should be going on our New Zealand roads. So it's the kind of car that, you know, you really need to be going 8, 9, 10 tenths, and with that amount of power and that amount of engineering and handling available, you know, that's probably not going to be a 40k in a 50k area, or 50k in a 50k area, and barely at 100k in a 100k area. So it's a lot of car, but most of the time the ceiling is the car, the ceiling of what the car's capable of compared to where the limits are. Legally, it's far in excess. So for me, that was a bit of a downside. Some would probably also say reliability. That's a bit of a cliche. You know, if you know BMWs and you're on top of maintaining it, they're fantastic cars. However, like with most things in life, you know, understand what you're getting into. You know, you're not buying a Camry, so don't expect that it's going to be the same as owning one. Make sure you know what you're doing and you do what the car needs you to do to help you get the best out of it, and it'll give you the best. So yeah, awesome car. I often wonder, or you know, about owning one again, but it just keeps coming back to that same thing, whereas it's just too much most of the time. But yeah, if you get the chance to own a BMW, maybe other cars that can get to the speed limit in 5 seconds, or just a bit under, then I recommend you should definitely not do it, because, you know, we're all responsible. But yeah, cool car. And cheap. My goodness. You know, you can buy these in New Zealand now for high teens, and they seem to be getting cheaper. So much car for that kind of money. It's just madness. But anyway, that's that. That's my little black BMW M135i. Until the next one, don't go back. We'll be right away. Cheers.